Minded podcast powered by the CDA Paris edition, presented by Maison et Objets and Paris Design Week.
I actually want to take this moment and enjoy myself because we're here in the presence of the wonderful Michèle Lamy. Michèle, thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah, you are coming after the fact. There was, for the first time, Rick had his show in-house, and at the same time you are here in the house that has been changed, or in the process to be changed, and we are sitting on the first chairs that were made for the collection. So you are the old, the new, and
I'm the old, the new, the now.
Yeah, and then the before. In a Napoleon-era building, or at least part of the building.
I really appreciate it for taking the time. And you know, the interesting thing, it's been 1 year since the last time we met at the CDA Awards. You were kind enough to present it. And so much has happened in the last year. Can you tell me a little bit like all the things you've been working on and everything you've been doing since, a year ago?
Oh my God, there is since the year, there have been a lot of, for my part, going out and bringing our design in a little bit in the world, and it's what is going to happen even more now. We are in a terrible time, and I was very surprised of you asking me to present a thing, and at the same time you made me discover sort of the world. I sort of was putting my nose in it with those architects and decorators of the world that you are, and I was coming back for my first time in Saudi Arabia. But I've been doing things in the Emirates and everything, and then China was sort of opening for us. And in fact, I'm going to be in Shanghai in March. Yeah, in March. And then I'm going to be in Dubai in February. And it's sort of, and then I've been, since then, getting closer to Jean Nouvel and what he's doing. But voila, this is...
It makes me so happy to know that I have a small part on this whole little thing, being part of the CDA.
Fun. And it was like we were sort of discovering each other.
I know. Well, I knew of you, of course, but yes.
No, you didn't know more than I knew of you. I mean, I was surprised and very pleased you asked me to do that.
I was through. One thing that I noticed too is that, you have this energy everywhere you go, and watching you through your years in magazines and fashion and design world, we know who you are. But when I met you, I felt warm. I felt like I knew already. I felt like you were a stranger to me anymore at that point. And you feel like the people that I have the chance to talk that has met you before share the same thing. That people feel very comfortable around you. That you have this welcoming feeling. Is that something that you try to get people comfortable? You try to make sure that people are enjoying themselves?
This is not something that you have a plan to be. I'm old enough to, what you tell me, not to be so surprised, and always people tell me, what about your energy? And then Rick, so most of the time, tell me you bring chaos, he's the only one. And sometimes they don't want me to be around, because when I think it's energy is a nicer term. But anyway, that's, I don't know, because you see, I'm doing a few things that are sort of different and everything, and suddenly sometimes I think there is a line. But if we talk, it's nice that we have this conversation. It's something that we build sort of here in a way that was a big surprise for me. Because, if we got into this building, It's because all those years I was in LA, when some French people were passing by, they were telling me, when are you going to go back to Paris? I was saying, when I leave Place du Palais Bourbon. Like I would have said when I by the Tour Eiffel, because I have absolutely no
idea.
No idea, but not even thinking I will ever want to go back to France. I escape, you know, and being on the road. So, and then things happened. For example, you know, there was the Italian coming to say that you are going to be a designer. We produce in Italian everything, and Rick wanted to show in Paris. So one day, well, a girlfriend of mine that I've said that years ago called me and said, "I'm your Place du Palais Bourbon." This building who had been, you know, it's a Napoleonian thing. But the latest it was the Socialist Party building. This was Mitterrand's office.
Wow.
And when he became president, he went to l'Élysée, and the Socialist Party bought a bigger building because they thought that was too small for them. They lost the other building already, but and from then nobody was in there for 23 years. When we came in, and it was abandoned the way it was before. I mean, a lot of real estate people were trying to do something with it. Did not work. It did not work because it was waiting for us. And then, you know, there was some gangster story, because how did we get something moving? The latest real estate guy was some kind of gangster from the Riviera. There were people running after him with a gun. Anyway, at that time, I said, okay, we don't know how we can do it, but we move in there. We start working on it, and then if we can buy it, we figure it out. Give us 9 months. And yeah, it took 11 months. And voila.
Here we are.
We were there, here we are.
Do you believe in destiny? There was a destiny to live in this building?
I wouldn't call that destiny, but I have to recognize that sometimes I have this thing come out of me, I don't know from where, like the Place du Palais Bourbon, and it happened.
Like manifest.
It happened for some reason, not that I was pushing, you know, it seemed, yeah, there is this, perhaps I'm, you know, I'm Madame Irma, with the look. You know, when I take a taxi and I go like by République, Bastille, and everything, this side of Paris, often they ask me, can you give me the number for the lotto, or do you want to read my hand? They think I have this kind of thing, but for the look. But then when I go more like Avenue Montaigne or whatever, people think I'm more from from some Arabic country or Middle East that they don't know about.
You have mystical powers.
So this is the thing, you know, that is some kind of, well.
Now, because we're also early in the year, and things are happening, as you mentioned too, like very spontaneously. Are you someone that, do you make plans? Do you have goals, or you more kind of just go along and see how life comes at you?
But there is always goals. But I don't call that goals. There is something to do. So whatever, like we found this building, there is nothing in there, and then with Rick it's to say, okay, we have to make the furniture for here. So that's why it started. Then after that, I have to find the people doing it. So yeah, there is goal for things that are happening, but it's really in connection with what is going, and then I go along, and then I like to meet people. But there is some kind of, you know, it's like the boat is going, and then sometimes you do this, you do that, but then is going back to, I don't know what to say that you're making.
No, I think
yes,
it's
dear
fascinating.
Christian.
That's very fascinating, though, because, and that's the other part I was going to ask you. Earlier on, we were talking about your charisma and how people gravitate towards you. It's not something that you teach. It's not something that, you have
I have no idea.
But tell me about growing up in Jura, and how it was for you as a child, where you have, sure you had the same personality, the same energy, but that upbringing, what was like for you?
I'm going to be 80 this year. So you want to know a lot of story, but I didn't grow so much there in a way, but yeah, the family is there. I was born because my parents met in the resistance. So my father was over there and sort of in the woods and everything being there. And my mother, which parents had a lot of restaurants in Lyon and places. So she was bringing the food to the guy in the woods. So they were the met. So perhaps it's coming from there. Always having, and then I say my philosophy is like 1001 nights, because perhaps if I don't tell a story, they are going to cut my throat somewhere. So I keep doing stories. I don't know for where it's come, but I'm sure it's there. And and after that, we not traveling a lot, but I was in boarding school a lot. So my father was supposed to be a diplomat, and he spoke 7 languages. His family had those atelier, factory, it's where it started the first plastics. Mm-hmm. Because everybody had like woods, and they were all artisans working on woods, and then the plastic came in through. There is a long story, because after that they were doing something out of milk that was galalite, and then it became. I'm very, very. I could be very technical how the thing happened, but even before there was. If you were looking at the Wikipedia that did not exist, what is the town where they were established, it was saying it was the world capital of plastics. And everybody was, and I was calling it Yo-Yo City because I thought it was the Texas of the world, or somewhere they have the oil and we had the plastic from the oil after that. But everybody, and then now it's dead since, everything disappeared. Mm-hmm. And so their explanation is that the other country did it cheaper or everything, but it's completely wrong. It's because those French people had no respect for the design. They were, and when that happened, before they were all artisans doing stuff, and they start making, those cuvettes, like Gilac and all those people. So I grew up with those people. And some still have some kind of, there was no farming, but like wood stuff. And then they were doing those, like Grofiex, those chairs and stuff. It was the world in transformation. But everybody was still very proud to be artisanal design. My family did this. So after the war, my father was older, and he had met my mother. So he took over from his father the factory instead of being a diplomat. But he was traveling a lot for this. So perhaps this is very, and in the meantime, they put us, the kids, in the boarding school. And also they were not religious, so they were not really Catholic. What was the thing? My father was a Mason. The other did not know exactly what it was, but it was, these people believing in intellectual thing of the world. So, voila. if you want a background to say why, I don't know if I should do this, that, but I always wanted to travel doing stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, so I went to the States, I was starting to make clothes, and in LA, but then I opened a restaurant, and this, and then. So in fact, with Rick, we have been together for 30 years, had a lot of affair doing things with people before, but he has been the consistent now that I'm doing all those things inside the house. Inside, it's like what you would say, the word. Yeah, it's a partnership. Yeah. It's a big partnership.
And the house is almost like a member of the family as well, a part of that union.
It seemed this way because, you know, all the clothes are made in Italy, but for what was the furniture design, I created some atelier outside of Paris, but it's in Paris. And then the house had been different thing, you know, it started to be, it was a showroom to start, then everything went away. And sometimes we had atelier in the street, but everything is very separate. And then now we decide to go back to the house and the show and everything. So, yeah, you are at a time where things are going another way that is more like make a continuity.
Yeah. You know, I'm curious. I have this saying that drives my wife crazy. I say a lot, I turn the page. I'm not looking to the past, I'm moving forward. Do you think about the past, or you just turning the page?
I mean, now you are.
Now that, from the question, but overall.
I think you never turn the page because things stay with you, and it goes, and it come back another way. I don't think we really turn the page.
She's going to use that on me now. She's going to tell me that next time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but you are based in Texas?
Yes, we're in Austin, Texas, yes.
Yeah, I was there because I went to Marfa.
Yeah.
Do you go
very crazy place,
there?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Rainer, Judd, and Jana Freeman, and I mean, it was my first time.
Really?
In Marfa. Knowing about it, saying we go there, big acknowledgement, but, you know, visiting more the building in New York. And now we are planning to do a show at Jenny Greenberg, Salon 94, in a year from now. See, I make plans. In a year from now, between Rick Owens and... So now it's a phase that we talk with other artists. So there is also this thing, Ricky, he likes to talk with dead artists. And I'm also always looking for the latest little chic. I mean, they could be, but at the same time, you know, that's when I talk to you, I think I have a plan.
You know you need to be in a certain place a year from now. You know the calendar, what's going on.
Yeah.
Now, because you're talking about having conversation with artists, being around artists is how you find a lot of opportunities and things, one thing leads to the other. Is that how most of the ideas in terms of creativity comes to you? It's more observing your surrounding and talking to people?
You know, because it depends for what. But if we are talking about the furniture and everything, it's more something I'm doing with Rick in a way, without sort of talking. And I make it happen or I transform it, but I don't think for that specific, it's we certainly digest a lot of other things, and then they come up and say, perhaps to look like, oh no, we cannot do that because they did it. I don't know. It's nice for the head. I always like to be seduced And
I like to be seduced.
yeah, that's a thing, perhaps, because, and I like to look at a. Yeah, I like to look at a thing, but they are sort of specific, you know. Now it's not like I'm looking for something that I.
You gotta be spontaneous.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, I trust some people or I discover, you know, through.
How often do you feel that you're in control of your creativity, like a project or like a piece of furniture, or the other way around? The piece is in control, and you're just observing its creation.
The piece is in control.
I mean, who's?
I don't know. Well, yeah, there is always the place you're putting yourself being in there. And I don't know what it's called. It depends for what it is, you know. Because we are in the house and everything, so that was something to start and saying like, we don't buy, we make. And you know, it was by accident, the thing, because some people have been doing, we have been doing some parties, even if it's, you know, before, when we were starting to do this furniture for the house. And then somebody thought that would make a nice collection. So if it was only Rick, he would have perhaps say no, when you always say also that I wanted to make it the collection and that's why it happened.
Yes.
So this is the thing, that somebody say this makes sense, so let's go. And then it goes the way, and that takes you outside of the house. So I always try to put it outside, talking with people, and perhaps this is a cocoon that sometimes you come in. Yeah. And then I try to open the door to a lot of people in it. Voila.
I love what you said. We don't buy things, we make them.
Yeah.
That's it. No, very interesting. Now with the furniture, I think it's so interesting because from the get-go, I mean, this being one of the first chairs, immediately got a lot of recognition. People immediately gravitate towards as well. Is that a plan to continue to grow that collection, or perhaps be more present doing, you know, like the Saloni, some of the major fairs? Design Shanghai has a big fair as well, to expose that.
We don't do those fairs.
Yes.
The furniture, we are with galleries, the piece have numbered.
And we Carpenter's Workshop, yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah, mainly them. And we go to the fair and everything, but it's not to make a lot of them, you know. Everything is like 8 plus 4. Of course, sometimes you have to say it's a special project, but it's nice to do it this way because we can do it completely artisanal, and it's part of the, you know, the ideas, the thinking, the way we can put ourselves. It's, yeah, but for example, sometimes when you say it could happen, let's say a while ago, we did a show in Saint-Moritz, Saint-Médan, where it was in a house of the culture of Switzerland, you know, one of those typical big houses where they have all the typical great thing of their life in Swiss. So it was very easy because I just took out some of their pieces and replaced it with some of the one, and it works. So usually what we do, what I think is very work well with the old, and if it was with some other designer that we would like, but from now, it won't. That's something I just,
yeah.
And it seems it's like this, so in fact, somewhere we are sort of old. You know, that's why now I'm telling you about Judd and about the thing we are going to do in Morocco with the Qatar Foundation and with the Dear Foundation is about John Chamberlain and Rick Owens furniture.
Wow, yeah.
So, but there is always a personal story. So when I had the factory making clothes in LA, because I was the child that we have met Rick. So when we started to be together with Rick, downtown LA, there was Angus Chamberlain, the son of John Chamberlain, opened a bar. And this bar he had a counter, a huge counter, and he has a John Chamberlain, very long, from his father there. So that's where with Rick we started to get together and getting super drunk there or whatever, doing the thing, and I was downtown and I was to the coast. So somewhere it makes sense to be made. So the Dia Foundation wanted us to do something, but I said there is a personal story about this. So of course Angus Chamberlain, I've called this bar Coca-Cola, and imagine the Coca-Cola company was making him a lawsuit that he had to change the name. He was also, I think, very high and anyway, the bar disappeared. So right now at the Dia Foundation, they are trying to find with the family where this piece is, and we would like to start the show with this piece that they don't have at the Dia Foundation. And then we were going to reproduce a big bar counter, and that is going to be our start. There was a reason that we talked. So, in fact, all what you ask me, to me, you need a story. When something has a story, it works.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People can connect it with it as well.
Yeah, but we won't tell the story be like this, but we could, And then it makes sense to do something because, voila.
When you look at what's going on, let's just narrow it down in design world, an aspect of furniture making, limited edition collection. Do you see things that excites you? Are you excited? Do you see interesting things? Do you think this generation of designers are super creative, or not necessarily?
No, I don't judge all things. Sometimes it fits when you want to do an installation, but mainly I was telling you, it's always easier where there is a setup, and then within the thing we start talking to the pieces, because I've been doing a little bit of, and especially with White Cube last year, they asked me to curate a show with Mathieu Paris, who is running the gallery here in Paris of White Cube, which is a small gallery, and then we could choose some of their greatest artists to talk to. So I like on that side too. And then we did some of the furniture specially for, some of our pieces, but it's in a special way for the show. So this is the perfect thing for me when there is a situation like this. And sometimes I like, when I see huge building or I think, let's do something there. But that won't happen. But it came like this. It's the architecture and everything is something that pushes you to do things.
Yes.
More than not thinking about so much. I don't think about the other, let's say, furniture designer.
Is that something that interests you? Maybe doing a hotel or doing an entire space?
Of course, of course. That's why I do this. Yeah, there is. So far, we have been putting pieces in a hotel or doing this. They could be coming. That there is more of it, but I think the way we are is going to be more like we have to do a hotel.
I was gonna say, we don't buy it, we make it, right?
Yeah, because people look at that and it's like, wow. But no, it will be always like this. Oh, those people here want to do a hotel. They say, but it's a good idea to be there. Why don't we do one?
I know.
Yeah.
When I was trying to get I don't try to get prepared too much for conversations like this because I like to be more spontaneous. But I was doing some reading, and I'm like, man, Michèle has done so many interviews already. Everybody has asked her all sort of questions.
Yeah, you see, I'm old.
And then, no, but listen, and then I thought, my next question is, what question that you have never been asked, but you wish somebody has asked you before?
Ooh la la, that was going to be
I knew I was going to get one.
While before I figured out what you can ask me that I would like to talk about. I don't know. What, because right now, and I think you should read. Rick show was yesterday. Mm-hmm. And you see it's coming because we live in an environment that makes it very difficult. Right now, every day, you get up in the morning and then you have the news, there is a genocide, there is something. And it seemed, it was a little bizarre that there is still the fashion week and you have to do things. That's also a reason we did in the house when usually do those big installations at Palais Tokyo and everything. But that was also a thing it's a time to, of course you want to do what you have to do, but there is a way that we are going to figure out what we do. And it's also, with Carpenter, we're doing this show in Dubai, and when the war started, the gallery was saying, I don't know if we want to be there. And then on the opposite, we said, we are going to be there even more, wherever we can to be. So this is the question that people are very afraid to ask right now. Mm-hmm. What you have, and you can see my stories so I get in Instagram, of course, and you can have a lot of people on Twitter that are fighting me, mm-hmm. and there is some that think that, we always try to express ourselves in a way that, we cannot be, you cannot be like neutral. It's impossible. And then the show, it was yesterday, and you would see the review now. So that was an expression, also what we think, what we do without knowing. But we keep going there. But I cannot believe that I would have to live through something like this again. There was. There was a war, they were products of the war, and then, that's the question we look now, and we cannot, it's not like clear, but we are clear of what we think, but we don't know what to do exactly. Especially in France,
I feel a lot of times people are so concerned to have conversation because they're afraid of the backlash, right? They're so afraid of people who's going to think of them, how they're going to be perceived, and we forget to be humans. We forget the ability to just have a conversation, try to understand one another, and really be clear what's going on. So I think it, for being a person that people look up in the art and the fashion design world. To have not only an artistic point of view, but of a human point of view is fundamental.
Yeah. It's fundamental, and we cannot make like we don't. There is the life here, and we are here doing our thing. Yeah. No, it's always related in a way, and trying to be very honest and positive.
Are you hopeful about the future?
Completely hopeful, in a way, completely hopeful and depressed on what is going on. But somewhere in me, I don't know, if I fell in a bucket or something when I was born about saying tomorrow is always better. And it was a time when it was really bad.
Yeah.
So, voilà, perhaps this is the reason of seeing things happen. You know, we went through, like the world, through a lot of things, and then, yeah, I thought, you know, before that happened, because going in the Middle East, that it was getting to be like a nice Europe over there, in the sun, in the sand, with all this. So we have been a lot in Egypt where things happen, and like trying to work on also the climate change, or the thing, and then this. So, you know, we Jeremy for the future. I was like a few months ago extremely hopeful for the future, and because I've seen like in Egypt, we were in Luxor, and one day like going on the road with those. You know, you have always a kind of gate driver in your car, and I see this little wall, but very long in the desert. So, say, well, what is that? It's because we are starting to make the desert green. So, I look for that. There is the weather maker, the people that have been, they are from the Netherlands. And they are the one who did the fake island of there.
The palm.
In Dubai. And then they said, well, this I heard what they said. They said it's finished, that we are polluting the earth. Now we are going to save the earth, or save ourselves. Anyway, so they are working on making the desert green. And it was going to, but I've seen some picture that it started. All the big parts of the desert go to the Sinai. They are working on it. So they were like everywhere they were going there. They were like, and discovering how beautiful it was. I mean, to Jordan, and you know, and making it right, like to go over there. And of course, before we never put a foot there, but. Everything changed. The women have always been like thinking I'm this kind of free, like going like this, but they were like so much hope and excitement. I was coming back here saying, yes, to see like civilization that changed so fast, and I like those nomad culture, even if it's covered by something else. There is always the thing of the story, of the continuity of the, you know, that I liked. And then so now.
Michèle, there's 3 questions I ask everybody on the show, and I'm going to ask you, and you can give me suggestions. First, a book. Would you recommend us a book to read? It can be something you read recently, or one of your favorites?
No, but really, right away, you have to read all the book of Etel Adnan.
Okay.
I should have known her forever, because she said, she's this Arabic woman, but living here. Also, you know, she was teaching California. She's writer, painter. She had wrote fantastic book and poem and things. And I discovered her because there was a show at the Museum of Yves Saint Laurent of her a couple of years just before the
in Marrakesh.
In Marrakesh. I thought, you know, anyway, I like it so much that I asked her if I can use her words for the music. So I was planning at the time, we were going to do another album with La Vasca, and so far, whatever the music I've been doing, and I don't write the words, but I find the poems, and I use sort of the poem as a dictionary, you know, but the story is there. So anyway, we're preparing, and it was always with Langston Hughes, and then I called them, I said, long studies over, we have to do, I'm going to send you all the award, it's from Etel Adnan. Right now, there is a bunch of her books, and voilà, the book is very quick. I'm going to be coughing a bit, I need to drink a tea.
Yeah, we can take a tea, yeah. So we have a book, the next one would be a movie.
I think it will be any Godard movie. Even if there is a lot of things I love, because I just lit a cigarette, I'm sure if I smoke it's because of Jean-Luc Godard. À votre souffle.
Now the last one is, who do you think we should invite to be a guest on the show?
You will invite.
Yeah, who should
the next person?
The next person, yes. Who do you think we should invite?
You should. You have to invite the Sheikha from Qatar, the Artisans and Designers.
Okay.
Because I think she has been talking. She is. I mean, it's absolutely incredible, and there is a. And I like. I think I would like to hear her, you interviewing her, and what she said. We're
going to work on that one and send it to you. I'm going to let her know. Michèle is the one that told me to reach out.
Al Mayassa. You know, I cannot even say all the name.
Yes.
Do you know her? And,
yeah, of course.
Okay.
Michèle.
You know when she lives a couple of blocks?
So close by.
Close by, lately, so she has been coming here, but it's mainly coming there, and it's with her. They have planned to do whatever she do over there, to do it in Morocco, because they help with the earthquake.
Yeah.
And then she said there is all those artisans over there, and we work with some artisans also in Morocco. So voilà.
There you go. I want to thank you so much for taking the time.
Is that okay?
It has been amazing, because it's been a year. Let's not wait another year, right? Let's try to do this more often, get together next time, over whiskey or something more interesting.
Whiskey? No, but of course. My scalp. No, but I think why, because if you are there, I don't know when I'm going to go again, but we should meet in Marfa.
That's a great idea.
Next time.
Well, let us know. We'll stay in touch, and we'll.
With them and doing something. We do a big dinner with Reinhard and Flavin and everybody from the Chinati Foundation. Talk to.
We're down.
Before the show. Okay.
Perfect. We're making plans. We're making plans.
And then you are going to be also the sponsor of our show at Gilly Greenberg. All is done. Okay, let's work on it right now.
Minded podcast powered by the CDA Paris edition, presented by Maisons et Objets and Paris Design Week.